explosives and shit. And like when I was editing S4YA the other day, I was like, oh god,
Hey,
because I was
we're
like, hello,
streaming. Stream health is good. We are
good.
live.
That's fantastic.
Uh, holy cow! It still says interdimensional RSS. I could change that. I should
Mm,
change that.
mm. Close enough. Oh god, I didn't mix it. I didn't mix it.
Uh, Here's the thing: is I've got the right.
I don't have anything to mix. Should I use a nail file or a pencil to stir my drink?
Boom! Look at that! Look at that! Boom! And we're apathetic enthusiasm on the stream. I'm like a professional, something or other.
Okay, but do I use a pencil or a nail file to stir my drink?
What is the level of use on the nail file?
Um, I don't know.
Someone
I see it.
someone should check the stream
I see it over here on my floor. That's all I can tell you.
to see if the audio is okay on it.
Mm. Oh, got it, Travis. I don't need a pencil or a nail file. Come on, these bad boys.
Somebody's watching.
Yes, is it you?
I don't know.
Look at that. Ooh. Travis, look. Travis. Still strong. I should have put more Bloody Mary mix into it. I mean,
All right. So I'll copy
whether
the
the
link.
stream works or not.
The stream's working, man. I'm gonna tweet the link. I'm just gonna tweet it.
Oh, okay, well, Tweety Bird. Um, yeah, I've got good news. Just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance.
Not a sponsor.
I hope these guys are sponsors. Comic Spot, the place to be. Oh, you didn't stream that, did you?
It's streaming.
Oh,
We're streaming
oh
right
no.
now. It's already
no.
up.
Now he's gonna be like, oh my god, what a thirsty prick. He's so thirsty.
Okay.
You know, I haven't washed.
Select all.
I haven't
Cut
washed
this.
my glasses.
And then I gotta tweet it from the right account. There we go.
Oh, so
Hey,
you're busy. You're
should we
busy.
live
Otherwise
stream a
I'd be
recording of Apathetic Enthusiasm? Oh wait, we already are.
talking.
Tweet.
You know, these glasses cleaners really work.
You really work. I'm
No
not
diggity.
watching you at all, man.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm using a glasses cleaner.
Hey,
And it
Mary
really
Cruz
works.
likes our tweet.
Hey, Mary Mom. Oh, maybe she'll watch us. My mom would probably watch us. She retweets me every once in a while. Oh, oh, Mama. Well, you came and you gave without taking, but you shot me out your vag, oh, Mama. And then I ate some milk from your titties.
So, I haven't heard that version.
uh,
All right. So I sent tweets. Should I put it on Facebook?
nah, dog. What? Oh, you mean stream to Facebook?
I mean, like,
Dog.
no. I mean, tell people on Facebook that we're streaming.
Yeah, whatever. You sound pretty good.
Huh?
You sound good.
Hey, it's
Sound
that new
healthy.
mic position. You know, it's changing everything.
Yeah.
It's not slightly to the left anymore.
It's changing everything you want to be.
Changing
American Express.
everything. Well, I guess okay. So we have a stream. Stream's
Yeah.
good. We got It says we got a couple people in here.
That's good.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm
just just to let people know who are watching that we're not going to be interacting with them.
Well, yeah, no, that's not the goal here at all. We're just gonna record a
No,
podcast. But if
that's
they,
good.
I mean, if they want to see it live, live.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like, so I tweeted it through our Apathetic Enthusiasm account, and then I retweeted it through the Interdimensional RSS one, and the odds of people coming to watch are probably much higher from the Rick and Morty pod. But we are totally not doing that show, or
Right,
even
correct.
sticking to that format in the
Yeah.
least
As a matter of fact, we probably won't talk about Rick and Morty
at
more
all.
than two.
I mean,
except in
I
a
don't think it'll
passing
even come up
conversation.
on this live stream.
No, that's true.
I mean,
Once you
realistically.
start.
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, we're not talking now. I mean, we're talking, but we're not talking about anything.
Right. I know I was the one who told you to do the live stream, but we should get this started because
We should probably just start the podcast. Okay. I like where your head's at, Brandon. Okay, so
Yeah.
I have social media stuff up.
Okay.
Ready to record?
Great. Fantastic.
All right. 5. Are you ready?
Yeah,
You didn't look.
I am.
You didn't look ready.
I am ready. Yeah.
Okay.
We're
5.
making sausage. This is our sausage making live stream.
I don't think that goes with the YouTube terms of service. I don't think we're allowed.
Okay, whatever.
All right.
Let's
5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everybody. This is Travis.
Hello, everybody. This is Brandon.
I gotta come in with the excitement, Brandon. I gotta be pumped.
I know
It's apathetic enthusiasm.
that is the most excited I've heard you on any of our hundreds of episodes. Hundreds.
Hundreds, hundo half,
Like,
maybe
yeah, like 1.5 hundo riz.
1.5 hundos. Well, yeah. Okay. Welcome, everybody. It's Apathetic Enthusiasm 2018.
Yeah.
Can you believe that we started this podcast in like what 2016?
2016? No, dude.
2015?
bro. 2015. I'm gonna start saying bro. I don't.
So,
I don't
so we're coming
I
up
don't
on
say
the
bro,
we're
except
coming up on the
ironically.
3-year
Yeah.
anniversary of this show. Is that possible? Can it be?
It is.
We're still talking about net neutrality? Gosh, come on.
It is 3 years. Yeah. Because
Wow.
2015 we started, right? It started off with a hope and a dream.
That's right. Just
And
two
then-
young boys,
Then I
in a
brand-
garage
Exactly right. And then I
building
said,
Apple computers.
I'm better than this. So I started my own show. And then I realized, no, I'm not better than this. And then we came up
And
with
you
our
came
new
back to me, and we joined forces.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we started
Uh,
a show together
yeah.
using what we learned together, what I learned solo.
Yeah, and a wildly successful pop culture thing.
Phenom.
Springboard. Anyway, welcome to Apathetic Enthusiasm, everyone. As
I'm
we said at
Brandon.
the beginning, I'm Travis. He's Brandon. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do that. At Apathusiast is our Twitter. I'm at Jugglemino. You're at Steve the Heeb.
Right.
Facebook.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm Show if you're not following us on Facebook. Apathetic_enthusiasm over on Instagram, which we, New Year's resolution, want to use more. Haven't done a great job in the first week, but I mean, we're gonna get there.
I put something out there. I
Yeah,
put
no,
a picture out there.
It's better than nothing. So we're already doing better.
I've used Instagram twice this last week. One for our other show with that one cartoon that we said we weren't going to
Yeah,
talk
that
about
we
on
definitely won't talk about.
this. And then one on the not apathetic enthusiasm account for submit for your approval.
Yeah. And then I still want to do the thing that I attempted to pitch to you when Instagram live story, or not live stories, but like the Instagram stories first came out, where we do like a back and forth video. So peer pressure Brandon on social media to do interactive videos with me,
Dude,
via Instagram.
To the listeners listening, let me just tell you how much of a throwback that is. That idea
It's
is
the week that those came out on Instagram is when we started talking about it.
yes. It was Father's Day 2015 when we talked about that originally.
That Father's Day, really? All
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
I don't
I
believe
remember.
it. I don't
I
believe
remember
it.
when we were talking about it because you and I were disc golfing, and you were trying to show it to me
I
at the little disc golf course by where we lived at the
all
time.
right. I'll
I have a
I'll
dumb memory.
agree. I'll agree to disagree. Email. Send us an email at apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. And of course, hit us up on our website, apatheticenthusiasm.com. Yeah. Okay. That stuff's out of the way. I will switch over. If you want to follow our YouTube channel, you can, where we, on a whim, decided to live stream
Yeah.
this podcast. So it'll probably still exist out there. If you're listening to this right now and want to see what we look like, head over to our YouTube channel.
We tend
Yeah.
to make videos at least once a year.
Yeah, we're getting this one knocked out real early. Real early.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we took a little bit of time off. We had a holiday, sort of like holiday podcast that we pumped out there. But this is our first official Apathetic Enthusiasm post holidays, post New
Post.
Year's. And Brandon, how was your break? How was your time off?
Thanks for asking me that question. That's very nice and thoughtful of you.
Thank you.
Just
I'm
just
not.
like when
I'm.
you
I'm absolutely interested in what you're about to say, and not just trying to create conversation for a podcast.
thank you. No, it reminds me of your thoughtfulness. Reminds me of the time you and I were disc golfing on Father's Day in 2015, and you mentioned the whole Instagram stories thing idea to me. And
Yeah.
I said, and I remember it vividly because you were being thoughtful that day. Anyways,
Anyways.
that's another
Anyways.
story. Anyway,
How's
so
your holiday?
holiday was good. We we got some good stuff. I mean, the kid at this part of my life, I'm just kind of like, let's have the kid have a good Christmas and have him believe in Santa Claus
Well, yeah, obviously, because
for as long as he can.
Yeah.
But I'm having second thoughts on that. Like
parents take the kids out of the room.
I feel like a jerk a little bit about it.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Like I hit a point this year where I said I probably shouldn't, lie to my kid as like my own humor point. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I felt like it was a huge relief when my oldest found out the truth, because then
Yeah.
it was like she was in on it, right? And then it was like I didn't feel like I was lying to her. It was more like, hey, no, this is like a fun thing, and she just totally bought into being on this side of it, like this side of
Yeah.
the truth. And we do the Elf on the Shelf in my house, and that is like 26 consecutive days of lying, and with visual aids. Uh, so yeah,
Nick-
it's I don't know. It's I the thing about it for me is like the magic of Christmas, the magic of Santa. Like, to me, that's real. Like, that is legitimately real, because whether you see a magic trick or you see a special effect in a movie or anything, like anytime you go, whoa, like that's awesome, like that emotion, that feeling, like that's I'm still into that.
Yeah.
And eventually all of my kids will get to an age where they realize, oh wait, no, like mom and dad made all that happen. And that's the payoff. That's when they're like, hey, every good thing in my life came from my parents.
Right. Yeah, I think that there's part of me that knows that the kid is an only child, and he'll only ever be an only child as far as we're concerned, unless Chelsea gets remarried and has a successful marriage there. But he won't have a brother or sister to be in on the
Right.
the
Yeah.
gag with.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's different. That'll be different for him than it was for me with two brothers, where my older brother figured out before me, obviously, and then he was in on it for a second, and then my younger brother, I was in on it. I don't know how my son will fare with that, but whatever. As long as he enjoys it, I guess.
And I mean, there's
He doesn't, as long as he
There's
doesn't hate me.
there's a shelf life to it, I think.
Sure.
And I feel like really early on, I was doing the showstopper gifts and giving Santa all the cred,
Yeah.
and I've completely changed my tune with that. Like he brought a good, like he brought like TVs this year, but
Yeah.
that's all he brought, and then everything else was from me. Like I'm
I've always.
including the Nintendo Switch.
Well, what kind of TVs were they? Like what brand?
They were Polaroid $80 Black Friday TVs.
Okay, let me ask you a question. This is a hypothetical, clearly, because he doesn't exist. Spoiler alert.
What?
Like, does Santa like partner or collaborate with some of these companies? Like,
Yeah, he's got a like partners in the business.
yeah,
He makes contracts with certain distributors.
like he goes through
Uh,
like contract. Like he has an IT service manager who does a whole contract management portion of Christmas for him.
In a simpler time, elves were left to build wooden toys
Yeah,
and balls with hoops and things like that. But in a modern society,
yeah,
the elf has come a long way, and
that's
now
right.
they manage cloud services. They're building microprocessors.
There's like elf team leads
That's
who
right.
like they're in charge of
There,
like releases and
there are
testing.
elf project managers that work through flowcharts and things like that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they have their Gantt charts.
they're
So many Gantt
the
charts.
Christmas burn downs that they're working on, and yeah, all kinds of things. So I think, and maybe they put packaging on the boxes that looks like it's sold exclusively at Target
Oh,
stores.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know.
That
That to me,
direction.
is the line. That to me is when I'm like elaborately having to come up with like a convoluted lie to like keep the last little endings of the bit alive. That's when I'm like, no, yeah. And that's the other thing is I've had both of my younger kids say, "Is Santa real?" And I go, "What do you think?"
Yeah.
And that is it. I answer
That,
the
that,
question with a question, and when my oldest one said no, I went, "Yeah."
nice. But he asked us this season, which he just turned 6, so he's about it's about to end
Borderline.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and we asked him with a question.
Although my 8-year-old is all in still. Big time Santa advocate. Santa
Yeah.
2020, he's in.
Yeah. And he said, this is before Christmas Day. He said, kinda yes and kinda no.
I'm on the
Like
fence.
you,
I'm a
you wait,
moderate.
you wait till you open up the present, kid. You'll see. And then so we went. This was really cool. We went to Busch Gardens. This weird like Christmas post Christmas episode where we talk a lot about Christmas. And it's so
Whatever.
inconsequential.
It's apathetic enthusiasm. We do what we want here.
We went to Busch Gardens, and Busch Gardens has like Santa's Village there, and you wait in line, and thankfully it was after Christmas where we went, but we went in line, and these elves are at this. It's like a house, where you go into, and these people are dressed as elves, or they are elves, I should say, and they lead
I can't judge
you.
them on their lifestyle.
They lead you through the house, and then you see Mrs. Claus, and then an elf guide leads you through like a little hallway, and then she sat down with my son in front of like this mirror, right, which is it's a doorway as an adult, but for him, she's like, okay, do some magic, okay, close your eyes and hold your hand at the door, do some magic, 1 2 3, open your eyes. And as he opens his eyes, then the door opens, and then there's Santa in there, and
Ooh.
it's super cool when you're a kid. And then he went up, and Santa asked him what his favorite gift was, and he said it was the Switch. And Santa's like, I knew you'd like that one. I'm like, nailed it, Santa. That's how you keep it up. I knew you'd like that Nintendo Switch. Damn right, Santa. That's what you say. Instead of like the Santa who we had when we took the pictures before Christmas, who said, "Ugh, yeah, you and everybody else wants a Switch." Like, come on, dude.
Ah, it is
Come
the
on.
it is the hot gift of the holiday season. I mean, come on, Santa. I know you're busy up there with your elves that are trying to figure out how to get all the circuitry and those Joy Cons, but it's complicated stuff, and yeah, they got to
Their
work
hand,
overtime.
but their hands are really good for soldering. I'll give that to the elves.
Yeah, I mean they're born for it. It's like a gift.
Maybe they're born
Well,
for it. Maybe it's
speaking of
elf-ly.
speaking of born for it, actually speaking of Nintendo Switches,
Yeah.
so you guys got a Nintendo Switch,
Yes.
as did my family. We both did like scavenger hunt deals to for the big reveal. How did yours play out?
It went pretty good. So I went into his room. We set everything up, and then I went into his room to lay down, and when like he woke up, I hadn't fallen asleep again, but he woke up and he's like, oh, "Santa's here! Santa came!" And then like he ran out into the living room, and Chelsea was asleep in her bedroom. Well, our bedroom, I should say. Like we don't have separate bedrooms. uh, Chelsea was asleep in bed, and there was a note Santa left in his stocking that like started the scavenger hunt, and it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a guide, whatever. And he went right to the stocking. That's the first thing he pulled out, and he ran there, and so which means I walked there, and I caught it at the tail end where he's like halfway reading through the note already, and I was like, "Oh, maybe we should wake up your mom first." And then
Yeah.
Chelsea had woken up, and she's like, "Brandon, why didn't you wake me up?" I'm like, "He was so fast."
These kids, they're
He's
pumped full of sugar and excitement. I
I
can't.
didn't know. I didn't know the note was the
I try
first
to
thing
take
he'd
him out
read.
at the legs, but he's just too quick.
He's too quick. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was good.
I hid the note to kick off our scavenger hunt in the
Uh-huh.
tree,
Yeah.
so that which it's like a thing that my wife's family does where they like, I think her dad would put gift cards in the tree,
Okay.
and so
Because
I'd actually like had, huh?
in my head, like there's a risk of them not seeing the note in a tree.
Right.
To me, like in my head, I'm like, Christmas morning happens, and there's nobody notices the note in a tree, and you're like,
Well, no,
hey.
I kind of did that intentionally because being the cruel father that I am, I made Caleb open all of his gifts
Child abuse.
before.
You heard it here first.
Which, like, the Switch was like easily the biggest thing that he wanted. Like, every time you asked him what he wanted, that was the first thing out of his mouth. Nintendo Switch, Super Mario Odyssey, period, dot, done.
Yeah.
So he opens everything, and I'm like, everybody, like, excited about what you got and everything? And he's like, yeah. And then I go and I pull the stuff out of the tree. I'm like, oh, Sheena, here's your gift cards. Oh, and what's this? And then that kicked off the scavenger hunt, and they were
Yeah.
so the way we did it is we had them have to find other stuff, which took them downstairs,
Yeah.
and then I scrambled and grabbed all the stuff and brought it to the living room. So it was like in the same spot where they started, but it like magically appeared because Dad went and got it. You know.
Yeah, well, Santa set up little Nintendo figurines all around the house, and so each figurine had a note for him to follow, and the note was like blah de blah. Check out Daddy's podcast room, and it was like a little rhyme, whatever.
Mine went to the podcast room.
No way.
Did I have to ask? Did
You
your
steal
notes?
my rhyme?
Did they rhyme? Did yours rhyme?
Yeah, of course. They're kids.
Two
That's the only
sides
thing-
of the same coin, me and you.
That's,
Two sides.
that's the only way to make it fun is to have them rhyme.
All right.
You don't want to have like a riddle that says, "Check out a room."
What's the
Word.
square root of pi?
What's Pythagorean's theorem? Is that that's I said
Use
that wrong.
Pythagorean's theorem to find the coordinates for your next clue.
Anyway, but yeah. So and then it ended with Santa had set up the Switch on the TV already, So he told Dexter, my son, I'm finally saying his name out loud, like an asshole. Uh, told Gave him directions on how to find the something on the TV. So he like pressed the source button a couple times,
Oh,
went to
nice.
HDMI two, and he's like, and he blew up. His head blew up. His
And
little
that was how he
dumb
died.
5-year-old
Uh,
head blew up.
yeah. So we both got Switches, which ours is a family gift, mostly as a defense mechanism to keep my son from like trying to yell at his sisters when they want to play it. But also because Dad wants to play it. We got Super Mario Odyssey. My wife surprised me by getting Breath of the Wild for me. I was not expecting that. She
Oh.
almost ruined the surprise with the scavenger hunt because she forgot which present like she wrapped it in,
Right.
and I almost opened it like in the middle of the gift unwrapping session, and I had to like quickly hide it and be like, Gina, I mean, thank you very much, but like, how dare you be this awesome?
Um,
But yeah,
no,
and so we've been playing mostly those. We also got Sonic Forces or something, Sonic, and one two
Right.
switch, 1-2 switch.
we have Odyssey and we have Mario versus Rabbids, and then I pretty much immediately downloaded Golf Story.
Golf
But
Story.
but this
Tell
so
us about Golf Story, because
well,
I really want you to paint the picture of this game.
okay. Well, let me just say, everyone who's listening, we're actually transitioning into the main thing that we wanted to talk about
Hey,
today.
there's no segments. This is apathetic enthusiasm.
No,
Get out of here with this.
it's not a segment, but this is the Travis and I, we talked about like what are we actually going to talk about on a new episode of Apathetic Enthusiasm, releasing Tuesdays on Fox. And the thing
Now a Disney company.
the thing that came up was, well, we wanted to talk about Nintendo, and and we didn't. The whole Christmas stuff wasn't why we were segueing into Nintendo, but it's just natural, Travis. It's natural,
I want.
like my boobs. It's natural.
It was natural until you like stopped and explained it all.
Well,
And
well,
now
I
it's like
no, it was natural until that, but I had to say, hey, everybody, we're not just going to be rambling on for another 20 to 30 minutes. We are talking specifically about Nintendo. That's what this episode is about. And sure,
sure,
people are going to
okay.
see the episode title and be like, well, no shit, dude. Like, yeah, obviously, it's in the title of the episode is Nintendo Does.
Nintendo's
Nintendo's
Nintendo
rock.
does it right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyways,
yeah, but so
whatever.
so
Don't
tell me about
criticize
Golf
me.
Story. Tell me about Golf Story.
Okay, Travis. Let me give you a brief history of my life of video games. There there was a video game way back when for the TurboGrafx 16. Okay, everybody had a TurboGrafx 16 back in the day. Bonk's Adventure.
I didn't have one.
Everybody name one person who didn't have it, and I'll show you someone who's a liar.
Me
To get
and
that.
everyone I knew.
Then everyone you know is a liar because everybody had a TurboGrafx 16. There was a game I don't remember what it was called, but it was a tennis game. Okay, bear with me.
I'm
This is
following.
before Mario Tennis. Okay, it was a tennis game that was an RPG, and you would go around the world upgrading your equipment, doing tennis battles, which is just ended up being
Just
tennis
playing
games,
tennis.
right? And you would upgrade stuff, and it was like an adventure. And I always thought that was such a cool idea to have an adventure for something like tennis. And so now going through the years, Tiger Woods, that type of stuff. Any kind of game where like you can level up your stats, even FIFA. FIFA's
Hmm.
gotten away from it a little bit. They made it a little more convoluted. But anything where as you play, your character gets better. I enjoy them, especially
Hmm.
in a sports way. Okay, now a couple like a year ago, Golf Story was released for the Nintendo Switch on their little like indie store, their
Yeah,
online
yeah.
store. And Chris Rendazzo, who's over at Geekade, he played it. That's how I found out about it. He was playing Golf Story, and I was like, that is really cool. I will never play it because I will probably never get a Switch.
Fast forward to
December 2017,
now.
we get a Switch, and that is immediately the first thing I think about. So Golf Story is an RPG. It's kind of like a 16-bit look, overhead view, and you're a character who has always wanted to be a golfer, and he's going through a divorce, and he wakes up one day and he says, "I'm going to be a pro golfer." So you're this character, and you meet a bunch of zany, wacky 16-bit characters on your quest, and you do quests. Um, there's there's some mysteries you have to find, and you have to like challenge people. You have to go fetch stuff,
Yeah.
and you level up. So like you get experience for doing these tasks, and then you can when you level up, you can add more power to your swing, draw, make you more accurate. It's fun. I don't, and I sound
It's fun.
stupid and nerdy.
It's just fun. I want you to tell everyone exactly what your wife said when you were playing it, uh, in terms of the visual quality of the game.
Okay, I was like, she said a lot of things to me.
Because I was playing for a long time.
No, she said, and you might have the exact quote, so correct me if I'm wrong, but she said something along the lines of, "Do you like games like this?" And I said, "What? Like games like what?" She's like, "You like games that look like they're old?" And I said, "Yeah, I do.
Like it,
I like old games."
and it was something to the point of like you bought a new console so you could get a game that looks this old or something like that. Like
So you okay, Mario Odyssey, Mario versus Rabbids, they're amazing looking games.
outstanding. Yeah.
Outstanding. I'm not playing those. I'm playing the overhead 16-bit game with the
Like 16-bit sound even. Like
yeah, yeah.
nice.
And there there's something so simple and easy to get into with those types of games where you don't have to like worry about like rotating the camera. You don't have to do a lot of exploring. Like the controls are so simple and straightforward that your brain doesn't have to try to do a lot of extra stuff. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it's a testament to a certain type of skill in a developer, in a storyteller, maybe, when you can, in 2017, 2018, release a game that is 16-bit, 32-bit, whatever, and you don't need big graphics or like exciting visuals necessarily, and that's not to say that those games can't be visually impressive either. It's just a more retro style, and so like part of that is appealing to the nostalgia in guys our age who grew up playing games that looked like that.
Yeah.
But when your game can still be really good because you put time into the story, you put time into what you're actually doing, and it's not just a game that looks amazing but is like super repetitive or has no like decent story, or is like Destiny, like any of those games. Like sorry, Destiny fans, but
that's true. And even with the retro feel of some of these games, there you can go back to play A Link to the Past or Final Fantasy 3. You can go back and play those games and then play a game that's new that looks exactly like it. The game that's new will feel better.
right, yeah,
it's not as jaunty or janky or whatever.
yeah.
And it is smoother. So even though it looks retro, it feels new. Oh, that makes
No,
sense.
I get that. No, it makes sense. And I don't know, like I understand like Chelsea's like immediate reaction would be like, you bought a brand new system and you're playing something that's old like this. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's an appeal to that, and it's not gonna be the same as buying a 20-30 year old game.
Yeah.
Like it is still a new game, and it's built like on the experience of all those other games that came before it, and can pay tribute to a style or the limitations of a particular developer's capabilities, but
Yeah.
or budget. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game.
Right. And I can tell you, I've spent more money probably on classic games than I have on new games. For like when I had the Wii U, I Smash Brothers, Mario Maker, obviously.
Yeah,
But I also would buy like Castlevania for the Super NES, and I would buy a bunch of. Oh, clearly, I don't remember what they are, but
yeah,
I play. Castlevania 1, Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Like I spent a lot of money on random old games to play through.
yeah.
Um, and I think that says a lot about Nintendo.
Yeah, it's interesting, and Nintendo is continuing to surprise me, just like as a company, because every couple of years you hear like the doom and gloom of, oh, this is it for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Xbox just came out with their new state of the art console. PlayStation's got all of the megabits and things. Like Nintendo just can't keep up. Nintendo can't compete. And then they do something like the Wii almost 10 years ago at this point, maybe a little over 10 years ago, and it was totally different. It had these motion controllers that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like you couldn't play the same types of games on them in the same sort of way. You had to like buy a more traditional looking controller to play certain games. But it got people off the couch. People played Wii Sports. They played all kinds of different games, and there was a not a nostalgia factor, but like a novelty factor
Mm-hmm.
to that. And I think it maybe wore out a little bit over time, but it's a testament to Nintendo's like willingness to take risks and not just be a third option of the same type of games. But they're like, okay, we're gonna build something that's unique, that does something different, and this year I think the Switch was the highest selling console, either just for like the holiday season or maybe for better part of the year. But they sold a lot of the dang things,
Yeah.
and for most of 2017, I couldn't find one. Like they had a hard time keeping them on shelves.
There was a couple times throughout 2017 where I would be a random place, and we hadn't seen Switches on the shelves, right?
Right.
And then I would like walk into a Target, and for some reason I always go to the electronics section,
That's what
even
we
though
do. It's
even
what
though
we
I
do.
did, there's nothing there that I'm gonna get, and I would look for a Switch, and there was a couple times where I would see it on the shelf, and I'm like, take a picture, and then send
They
it to you
do
and say,
exist.
hey, look,
They do exist.
there they are.
You're like holding up like a newspaper and your face, and you see the Switch in the background. Like
Yeah.
on this day, it was
September.
actually in stock.
September 12th, 1917. That's a time travel thing, I guess. I don't know. I picked the wrong day. Like we were
Yeah.
just talking about 27th, whatever.
Anyway,
Anyway, the longevity. I think there's a longevity thing with Nintendo as well. Clearly, because I'm buying old games, and I'm
yeah. Well,
uh,
I think they have a really strong track record with their exclusive titles and the games that have been made by Nintendo and have only been available through Nintendo. We're talking Mario, we're talking Zelda. I mean, those are the two big ones. I mean, I guess like Star Fox, things like that. Those
Yeah.
usually come around, but really,
Metroid,
sure. And then a lot
Super
of like
Smash Brothers.
the Smash Bros, the Pokemon type stuff, specifically on like handhelds and things like that. But like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, they are console selling games. Like
Right.
they're they're almost enough on their own for you to be like, I want to play that game so bad. I will pay $300 to get whatever it is that will let me play it. I
Yeah, you are right. So I think we talked about this when the Switch was announced on this show a long time ago,
many moons ago.
many power moons ago, and I when it came out and I saw the initial videos for it, I wasn't impressed. And I think part of that was maybe Nintendo's commercial for it was super cheesy, and
Well, yeah, and it was like, hey, you're gonna grab your Switch and take it to a party on a rooftop, and then
yeah,
everyone's gonna
that's
play
right.
Mario Kart instead of like drinking and playing
Yeah,
beer pong.
and then Switch make
Yep.
and I wasn't impressed by it, and I'm not a Nintendo fanboy, so I saw that and I said, okay, whatever, we'll see. Um, and almost part of it is over the course of the year, like word of mouth a little bit. Everyone started enjoying it and saying how good it was and how much better than the Wii U it was, right? And the other thing was the kid was watching YouTube video. I said the kid again because
Yeah.
just in case we got far enough into the episode and somebody skipped it. The kid, he started watching YouTube videos for Mario Odyssey, and I watched along with him, and I said, "This game actually looks pretty awesome. This this looks fun."
Yep. Yep.
Oh God, it just changed. Oh, my
Yeah,
motivation just changed.
my nephew got a Switch like early last year, and there were several times where I'd be over at my sister's house, and then he's like, "Oh, check out this new game I got," and we'd play. You know, I mean, we played Mario when he had that. Really early on, he didn't have a ton of games that like wowed me. I mean, One
Mhm.
Two Switch is different. It's one of those things that Nintendo does where it's it's not for a hardcore gamer. It is very much for, you
Like
know,
Wii Sports. It's a
normals who want to participate,
how
but they're not,
how
and my
belittling
kids
you
love it.
are.
It has a very wide like um uh, range of like the players that can play it. Like my 6-year-old enjoys it just as much as we enjoy it. So what were
We enjoy it.
we
Yeah, no, I, Nintendo does. I feel like they do a decent job with balancing the normie game,
yeah,
the normie type games, as you
normies,
put it,
normals.
um, as you put it. Nobody else puts
I
it,
slipped on
and
my desk and shook it.
and kind of the more gamer centric type games. That
Well, and that was the other thing with the Switch is they were finally saying like here are AAA games that should run on the Switch.
yeah
Most of them, like Skyrim, have been out for a very long time, but they're showing that it has the capacity to play newer games. It's just a matter of what if this is the system that you want to play those games on. And for the most part, I think like if this is your second console or like if you have an Xbox or a PlayStation and then this is your other console, more than likely you're going to buy those big name games on the
mhm,
other system.
yeah definitely
But if this is the only console that you buy, it's nice that you can play the new Doom game on it and it'll run and it actually looks decent. And it doesn't have me characters in it or something like that. Like it's actually running a decent game and it's portable, so you can take it
yeah.
with you.
Let me ask you a question. In it's a comparison between the Switch and the Wii U. Uh, Many people have said in numbers wise that the Wii U was a failed system.
Yeah.
Uh, why why do you think? And this is it's anecdotal, so there's no wrong answer here. But why do you think the Wii U wasn't as successful as now the Switch has become?
I do think that the Wii U lacked some of the buzz with some of those big name titles. It had I think, what was it, Super Mario 3D World or something. Like my kids call it Cat Mario. because it's the one where you can get cat suits and run around.
Yeah.
But that was like the big Mario game for it. And then there just weren't a ton of like Nintendo exclusive type
Right.
games. I mean, Mario Kart 8 I thought was great. We still play that quite a bit on the Wii U. It's the reason I haven't bought it for the Switch. It's because
Right.
I was just playing it on the Wii U. But it wasn't a big enough separation from the Wii, I think,
Yeah.
like power wise. And so it didn't separate itself that far. And then when the new like Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4s and things, they just got so far out ahead of it that
Yeah.
I think and like everybody was waiting for the new Zelda game to come out on it. And I
That's
think
right.
because Breath of the Wild is what it is, it did take a long time for them to develop it. And yeah, they released it finally on Wii U, but it really was a launch title for the Switch more so than being something that could save the Wii U.
Yeah, I got you. And I mentioned Chris before, but he might be actually a good person to ask about that because he's a Nintendo fanboy, uh,
He's he's
through and through.
he's the classic gamer guy for sure.
Uh, but you mentioned having to wait for Zelda. I answer my own question, kind of. I think a large part of it was that there was no game release, like console game exclusive, that was really a console seller, as you said with Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
where those are the games that are going to sell the system. Wii U didn't. They had like Zombie U. That's the first game I had, and I didn't play it.
And it
Eventually, the
was
Smash
too
Brothers
much.
and
It was too much like the Wii, where a lot of the games still worked off the same system with the motion controllers, but you
yeah,
had this big giant like tablet type controller. I don't
uh,
know. Like part of me almost feels like
it was like a bridge. It was like a bridge.
yeah, the Wii U was this public experiment where it was like, okay, if we give you a console that's this big, like, are you gonna use it? Like, how are you gonna like the controller's gonna be really huge, but it's
Tilt
got a
it.
screen on it, so if you want to play on the couch while someone else is watching TV, like you can do that. Like, and then what if we made the controllers click off on the sides and you could just set it up as like a small screen? Okay, we're gonna make that one next. Like, it almost feels like it. You can look at the Wii U and the Switch as sort of this level of progression of them working motion controls, perfecting them. The Joy Cons are super impressive when you think about how much technology is packed in those things.
Yeah,
Um, and they're so
you,
small, awkwardly small at times when you try to actually play a game with them on their own. But I don't know, it's a good
you're
progression.
you're absolutely right, and you say that, and it clicks on my head right now because so we got the Switch for Christmas, and then a week later, Chelsea was like, "Hey, do you know where the Wii is? So Dexter can play Wii Sports." I said his name again. Shit, whatever. Anyways,
It's out there. It's
he's
out
a dumb
there.
kid. He doesn't know. He doesn't know I'm talking about him. He talked about Gophers the other day. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I set up the Wii so he can play Wii Sports, and as I'm holding the Wii controller and then the nunchuck attached to it, that felt like the early two separate parts of the Switch, the two Joy Cons of the
Yeah,
Switch.
yeah.
It felt like that, and I was like, oh crap, there's that. And then um, I didn't set up the Wii. I didn't set up the Wii. I set up the Wii U because you can use the Wii U to play Wii Sports on it,
Right.
and it'll recognize the Wiimote and the nunchuck. And when I got home one day before it was attached to my TV, he was just playing it off of the the Wii U controller,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
little
Just a
tablet,
little, yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's so Switch-ish right
Yeah.
there. So
It's
he's doing
precursors of the Switch. Yeah.
the Joy-Con, and he's looking at the little tablet. Like, it was like they, God, what Nintendo is awesome. It's like they had like a plan in the back of their head, like this is where we can get eventually.
Well,
We
yeah,
just need to not go bankrupt.
and I think that's the thing is they have really mastered the in an age where everyone has a computer in their pocket with smartphones, to still do well in a mobile gaming like hardware, realm,
Mm-hmm.
it's a really a testament to how good Nintendo is about creating things that are portable but are still fun to play. And yeah, they're making games for smartphones now, but they're almost like those bridges to like, oh, okay, we're gonna give you a Mario game for your smartphone, but it's doing is getting you hungry to play more Mario on a legitimate Nintendo console.
Right, right. Or like your kids who maybe they're not playing a Mario game, but because they're on a mobile device that you're gonna hand your kid, right? You're like, oh, here's Mario Run. Go ahead and play Mario Run. If it's been a while since a Wii U to a new console, they're getting exposed to Mario,
Yeah,
and as soon as a new console comes out or a new Mario game comes out and they see it on TV, they're gonna say, "Oh, Mario! Oh my God, I love
I gotta
Mario!
have it.
Oh,
I gotta
I
have
want
it.
that game."
Yeah, they got my son already. He's totally in. He played way too much Super Mario Odyssey. I was not a restrictive parent. He beat the game in less than a week. He has more moons than I can count right now, and it's the first time I've really like handed my son a new game
Hmm.
and not like sat next to him and been like, now you got to go over here and you got to do this. Like he played it, took off, and just is killing it. Now he's got the amiibo to help him with extra hearts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and I do think a big part of it is his amount of YouTube like family gaming channels that he
Bobby
watches,
Kids TV.
and they play these games and he learns stuff off of those. But I know he's not watching as many hours as he's playing like footage on YouTube. He's just figuring it out and getting out there and doing the things he needs to do. And he's way ahead of me on this game. Like I think I just got through the Metro City or whatever, or New Donk City,
New Donk. Yeah, New Donk
and
City.
and he beat the game a week before I did that. But I've been splitting time with Breath of the Wild, which I got to play for a little bit on Wii U. I
Yeah.
borrowed it from
Yeah.
a buddy at work,
Yes.
and I didn't fully commit to it because I knew I was gonna have to like give it back to him because he was moving in December and all this stuff. But when it was like my game and I was on my new console and everything, I got the bug hard, and I want to play it all the time, and I don't, but I always want to.
Let, I want to say this about Zelda. I love Zelda. Whenever I play Super Smash Brothers, like Link is my go-to character
Right.
in Smash. Um, Yet the last uh, the last game I played of Zelda was Ocarina of Time. Like that's the last Zelda game
Yeah.
I played. There was something to me about switching to the third person that I couldn't keep up with for some reason,
Hmm.
like mentally
Yeah.
or emotionally. Um, so what I want to ask you is about Breath of the Wild because everyone says it's an amazing game and it's so fantastic, and I believe them, but I don't know what it is about that game that is so revolutionary. What makes it game of the year? Travis, tell me what you think.
I think
Why should I buy this game? Because I want to, but
so. Part of it is it takes the things that are fundamental to a Zelda game, like they're not reinventing Zelda per se. Like Link is the same hero character that he's always been. Zelda is like a strong counterbalance to him that she isn't present in the game like throughout most of it, but she is still like communicating to Link, and you go into these spots and you're like, the thing is, Link wakes up 100 years after Ganon has taken over the castle. Like they put him to sleep for 100 years, and he lost all his memories. So you're playing through the game, trying to like level up to a level where you can actually go fight Ganon, and
yeah.
everybody knows who you are except you. You don't know who you are, so you're kind of
Hmm.
going through this process of self-discovery while also saving the entire kingdom, right? But the things like puzzle elements and exploration, like some dungeon crawling type stuff, like that's all there, but it is a massive scale. So, and there are tons of like side quests and little things that you can do along the way that just add to the enjoyment of the game, I guess. And and then there's also like, you know, your weapons have durability now, which I wasn't like crazy about at first because you're breaking things as you're fighting, but like as you move into new areas, you're getting cool new stuff, and so it's like a natural way to like not be carrying 80 swords in your inventory. Like they're breaking on their own, and you're naturally like getting new cooler stuff as you go. And I don't know. I think it's just part of it for me is the exploration and just the scale of the world. Ocarina of Time on the N64 was probably like the biggest Zelda game for me. It hit at a time when I was just like all about the Nintendo 64. And I loved the size of that game, and like the size of that game I think fits in the starting area of Breath of the Wild. So like there's just a lot to do. There's a lot of places to go, and yeah, I'm kind of playing for the most part through the story, but I'm also giving myself the time to kind of chase lizards and turn them in for armor and do all kinds of other things too.
That's a weird. That's a weird. Of all the things you could have picked from that game,
it's the most recent thing I did, so that's what I was trying to get some fire armor, and if I traded this dude 10 fire lizards, he'd give me the armor. So picking up rocks and chasing lizards for way too much time.
That's kind of like the experience I had in Golf Story. So they tie together. Yeah, no, it sounds cool. And I've asked a few people the same question as I asked you, which is what makes it such a good game. And I guess it's just one of those things that I have to experience to really see.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Cause
it is unfortunate. And the weird thing about it is
to spend money. That's the unfortunate thing.
The weird thing about it is when I borrowed the game, I wasn't that hooked on it. I played it a couple times, but I couldn't get myself to like really like get super into it. But I think it was in part because I was playing it on the Wii U. And the other part was just like knowing that it may end before I could do as much as I wanted to do in the game.
Yeah,
I was like keeping myself from getting fully invested.
It's like if you're dating somebody and that you know that somebody is going to be leaving in 2 weeks.
It's a summer romance,
Yeah,
and it can't last forever.
You don't want to get too attached, and you don't want to get them pregnant. Like you just have to play it safe.
That's right. I didn't want to get that Zelda game pregnant. That's really what it boiled down to. I couldn't go too far with it.
You don't want to be a terrible game father,
especially from long distance. Like nobody wants that. I can't truly be present,
especially not on Nintendo, because their online system is. I will say
okay. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the downsides to Nintendo real quick, because we've been singing their praises for like an hour. That
was a good segue, unintentional segue, but it's a good segue.
It's natural.
Let me just stop the flow of the conversation and say. That was an unintended segue, but it was a segue nonetheless. Go ahead, Travis. After you.
So the online system, we still got friend codes. Like,
yeah. Come on.
Why do I have to go on Twitter or Facebook and send people my weird alphanumeric code for them to be able to like find me online?
And Nintendo's like, hey, we have a good idea. If you were ever a friend with a friend code on your mobile or your Wii U or a 3DS, then don't worry about it. We have your friend code already. We will transfer it over. Like, it feels so archaic, and I don't use the word archaic.
Just usernames. Like,
I have a username. It's Steve the Heeb. Come on, like search. Steve the Heeb. Oh, there's Brandon because he's the only idiot who has that name.
So then here's the other part that irks me is day 1, December 25th, you add me, we're friends on the Switch now.
Yeah.
Which means
Nothing.
I can tell when you're on. I can tell the most recent game you've played and for how long. I think that's it. I think
there's so much.
I don't think I can send you a text-based message on the platform.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's Nintendo's down. I won't say downfall because they're really successful. But the one thing that they've always had an issue with, and we've talked about it before, is an online connectivity presence
Yeah.
kind of system.
And they've gotten better. They've gotten better. I think Mario Kart and Splatoon, like, they're trying, but it's still. And I think with their focus being more of like in the present, like couch based co-op and 1-2 switch type games where it's they don't even want you looking at the screen, they want you looking at other people, things like that. Okay, cool, that's great. I'm all for it. But like if I do something really cool in a game and I want to tell Brandon about it, like I want to be able to send him a message. I want to be able, like, it has a screenshot button built in with the hardware. Like, why can't? Maybe I can send that to you, but I haven't figured out how, and it hasn't made it glaringly obvious.
I know that you, like, if you press the screenshot button, then you can go to your menu, and then you can send it off to social media. I haven't checked whether or not you can send it to a friend,
which is great, but like for Splatoon, do you know how voice communication works?
Are you going to tell me?
I'm absolutely going to tell you. There's a third-party app that you can get for your smartphone that will allow you to open it up on your phone, and then you talk through your phone to the rest of your team, like or your friends. Right. So it's not even part of the system. It's built separately. I don't know. It just
let me just say this. In Nintendo's defense, I didn't even add the second N. It's the Bloody Marys. The Nintendo, in their defense,
you sound like a dad in the 80s.
The Nintendo, you and I, we play PUBG. Pretty
howdy.
Constantly.
Last episode, check it out for details on that.
Do we use the PUBG voice chat for it? Do we use the Steam voice chat for it?
No, we do not.
We use a third party app.
We use Discord. That's right.
We use Discord. So in Nintendo's defense, there are other apps, there's other services that are far better at what they already do than for Nintendo to come in and say, let us try our hand at it, and then fail at it probably.
Yeah,
fail at it this generation.
I'll give you that. And maybe once we both get Splatoon, which
not happening.
Oh yeah,
not happening. I didn't like the first one.
You're not gonna take Dramamine every time you want to play, and I'm probably not gonna get Mario Kart because I have the same game for the Wii U. Like it feels.
The issue with Splatoon. Let me just say the issue with Splatoon was the motion controls. Absolutely unnecessary for the first Splatoon. I just wanted to play with a traditional controller and be good with it. I forget what my issues with were at the time, but I couldn't get a traditional controller to work. It needed the motion controls.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that.
That's fair.
I threw up so many times.
So many times. Just like it looked like squid ink just protrude. But yeah, maybe they'll figure some of that stuff out. We didn't talk a ton about the portability of the system. Yeah. It is nice that I can, take it with me when we're going somewhere.
Wait, have you taken it with you places?
A few times. We got like a case because I know my kids. So I got like sort of like a hard case that everything fits in it really well. And like we took it like even tonight. My daughter had gymnastics practice, but the whole family went. After so much time, we busted out the Switch, and Caleb was playing Mario like while we were there and stuff. And
Yeah.
I my thought is, okay, I'll bring it with me when we go places, and like times when like nothing's going on, maybe I can play for a little bit. And it doesn't really happen because my son always plays instead. Uh, oh, but I feel like if we're going like traveling, like a road trip, or even like on a plane, the portability of it, like it works just as well as it does at home. And I don't know, like it's a really great portable console.
I just had a revelation, dude. I was used to the Wii U, which means that it was the tablet attached to an actual system off to the side. I know the Switch is portable. I know it is basically a portable system, but for some reason it didn't even friggin' click to me right now that we can take it anywhere. We can
Yeah.
take it anywhere.
Has it been in your living room since Christmas?
Yes. The furthest it's gotten is to my couch.
Wow. Yeah. No.
Oh,
It's
no,
mine's
I take it back. The dining room table. Like that's the furthest it's
all right.
gotten.
Yeah.
Because
mine's been all over the house and halfway around town. So
yeah,
yeah.
because it's an older mindset where didn't even think about it. Where I think it's tied to the TV. It's tied to the power cable at the TV, which again I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, that I can buy a different dock and put it at a different TV and hook it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But still, in my head, it's tied to a TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's the unique thing about it. And like I've looked at maybe getting a second dock so I can use it on different TVs, but I'm fine. The screen is decent enough on it and everything, size wise, where uh, it's still enjoyable to play on the Switch itself. Obviously, it's a little bit better on TV, I think. But yeah, all right. We talked Nintendo for a really long time.
that's
but
it.
keep doing what you're doing. Reggie, Fizami, and all you folks out there. I don't know. I've always been a Nintendo guy, and then sort of an Xbox guy, and I don't know. I'm glad to see that they're doing so well,
Yeah.
and that it hopefully doesn't mean that Nintendo's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, this is the last thing we didn't really talk about, which is something we mentioned to each other, was that they do take risks. Nintendo does take risks, but they also are very inclined to play it safe in some
Yeah,
ways.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, and I want to throw out, I missed an HQ trivia question, like a month ago, about Nintendo, and the question was, which of these systems has been released the most recent, and it was the Switch, 3DS something, and then something else.
The Nintendo 2D XL,
Yes.
because that was the right answer and I got it right.
Right. Right. So you got, I remember that because yeah, you went on, but they're playing it safe. They're just releasing new versions of the pre-existing kind of handheld devices that they have, with minor changes here and there.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, if you don't love Mario games, if you don't love platformers, if you don't love like the types of games that come with like a Zelda or things like that, like yeah, there's absolutely no reason for you to buy a Nintendo, really. Like, I don't know, the portability aspect of this, if you travel a lot and you really do enjoy gaming, like it's got it there where you can take it on the road with you. It's super portable and you're not losing anything. Like if you throw that dock in like your backpack or something, you can play while you're traveling, and then once you get somewhere, it's the same experience. Like I've traveled with an Xbox One. It is not simple. You can't throw it in
easy.
a backpack. Like you need to have a whole carry-on suitcase dedicated to that. Like that is not the case with this, and I think that's the strength that they're playing to here. Like, yeah, they're releasing 3DS, 2DS XL, DLP, SM. I don't know, like they're gonna keep doing those things because that's what's keeping them going.
Afloat,
And people, they want something new to play the 38th version of Pokemon on or whatever. Like, but people are still buying those games. Those games are still like a year ago. Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, and I grabbed it because I was, out of town for like a month, and I played the crap out of that game. Like, it was really good. So I don't know, like they're doing the same things over and over again, but the iterative changes that they're making, like they're steps in the right direction. So it's
Right.
not always revolutionary. A lot of the time it is safe, but it's safe with really good things. So yeah, it may not be like completely game changing, but it's what you're getting into with it. And most of the time it's really good.
Well, you sold me. You sold me on why they should be safe and risky at the same time.
You want to talk about politics or the Golden Globes? No, I didn't think so.
If you can convince me, that's no, you're absolutely right on everything. So everyone out there listening,
And
if there's
if anyone's watching,
anyone-
somebody is watching right now. If you're watching right now,
is it you?
leave a comment. I want to say hi to you on the podcast. So write something in the chat.
I'm gonna keep talking while you potentially write something in a chat. But I just, for those who are listening, I just want to throw this out there. If there's anything that we said that you disagree or agree with, let us know. Hit
Absolutely.
us up again on Twitter, Appenthusiast, on Instagram or on our Facebook, and also as a special request, please try to convince me to buy Breath of the Wild. I need to know. I need more anecdotal reasons why to
You
buy
can
this game.
cook food, Brandon. Like
I can do that and don't starve. I can do that in lots
that
of
is
places.
true. That is true.
What makes it special?
It makes a cool little song when you're cooking.
I'm not
food.
asking you. You had your
Oh,
time.
that's right. That's right. You guys tell Brandon to buy Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff going on. I think right now Nintendo was the big takeaway off the last 2 weeks for us. But we definitely don't want to limit what we talk about on this show, and we're open to doing lots of different things. I think with Apathetic Enthusiasm. Several months ago, we made the decision that this show is about things that are going on in our lives and just sort of the things that are piquing our interest right now. So if you have something that you think is really cool, or maybe it's a news story or some sort of topic that you really think we should kind of find out more about and then have a conversation about, hit us up on all those links. Send us an email or something. Give us something to talk about. Just give them something to talk about.
You have 2 weeks from the time this is released.
How about love?
Did you say how about love?
Is that not the line?
I don't know. What do you? I don't know. Are you just?
Let's give them something to talk about.
Oh, right, Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah, it's a throwback.
You're such a huge Melissa Etheridge fan.
It's big. All the posters that are right over there, guys. I wish I could turn my camera and show you guys. we don't have rights. We can't sing too much of the song. But no, I have some ideas about this show that I'll talk to you about, Brandon, before we make it public knowledge. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that downloads the show, whether you came from Interdimensional RSS or you've been listening since the beginning. Truly, like this show is really about me and Brandon and sort of everything we've been doing for the last 3 years. So thank you so much for listening. If you haven't gotten a chance to head out to your favorite podcatcher and leave a review, why not do it now? Like right now. Just stop listening to the episode and go leave a review. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us what you think can be better, and we will read those and take those to heart. And until 2 weeks from now.
That's right.
Brandon, is there anything else? Any last minute things?
I just want to say thank you for listening, everybody. And as Travis said, this is a show about Travis and I and whatever else
And
you
mostly,
want us
but
to
mostly
talk about.
Travis.
Mostly Travis. And if this, if this is something you like, please let us know, and we
And
will
if you want us to
continue
live
being
stream more,
narcissistic.
tell us that too, because I don't know. Most of it'll be us getting killed in PUBG, but we'll do it.
Yeah,
We'll do
and
it.
and thanks to the one person who is watching that didn't leave a comment.
We see you. Unless it's just like you didn't open it, did you? Is it just the two of us?
No, no, it must be just two of us. Anyways, hey everyone, thank you for listening. I am of course Brandon,
And I'm Travis.
and we'll talk to you next 2 weeks time. We do.
Bye. We didn't talk about Rick and Morty. Oh, dang it.
I already stopped it.
Okay, so that's a podcast. Podcast
Yes.
is done recording. People are in the live stream.
What?
People didn't-
we're still.
Yeah, we're. I mean, I didn't stop the live stream yet.
I was picking my butthole,
Ah,
I can't-
dang
can't-
it! Dang it! I do want to know who's watching this stream.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah. Night. Oh yeah, if somebody's in here.
Well, I won't believe it till they leave a comment.
Hello.
I won't believe it.
But yeah, I mean, live streams work.
Is
We
it
can
my
do-
mom?
We can do these more. It could be Proud Mary.
Mom, well, you I don't know why you listened to that whole Nintendo thing. It must have been so boring for you. We weren't talking about Nancy Grace.
You know, what's funny is like I had Nintendo as like an opening topic. We spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah, no, I thought that was what we were gonna. Well, obviously we talked about Christmas for a lot, but I thought that
Yeah.
was gonna be. That's the
Yeah,
only thing I had in my mind.
It
to talk
sort of has been the hot thing that we've both been focused on. So,
Yeah.
I just like how like early on we used to be so committed to like trying to be at the forefront of like doing reviews and things, and now
Yeah.
we're like reviewing a console that's a year old. And
Yeah.
but I mean, you know, it's new to us. So
it is new to us, and I think there are people out there like us who didn't get on a bandwagon because they weren't ready for it,
yeah.
or
Yeah,
or
and that's
whatever,
something we did.
you
That's
know?
something we didn't really talk about on the episode. But like, what kept you from buying a Switch when it first came out? Like, was it just like, strictly a monetary thing, or was it like, oh, I just don't need another console, and I'm happy with what I've got? Like,
Part of it was convincing. Well,
the significant others.
no, not even that. Like I said, I would be at a Target and I'd send you a picture of the console.
Mm-hmm.
And there's part of me that wants to buy consoles, even though I don't plan on playing it necessarily.
Yeah.
And Switch was kind of like that, where I'm like, I want it, but why do I want it? I don't really need it.
Yeah.
When I saw like the Super NES minis at Target too, I thought, yeah, I'd like that. Why? I have all those games on like an old Super NES.
Yeah. I can put most of those games on this thing now. So
Yeah,
it's
your pie.
delicious pie.
So I didn't need a Switch. That was the thing. I didn't need one. I just wanted one. And then when Dexter started watching those YouTube videos, and I was watching them along with him, I was like, this is actually kind of cool. This actually looks really amazing for a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
And that was the instant that I was like, yeah, actually, I don't want it just to have it. I wanted to actually try it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think the portability of it was a huge seller for me, which the fact that you haven't utilized the portability of it like cracks me up in a lot of ways. Like that you just feel like it needs to stay hooked up to the TV. But
it's
I don't,
weird.
whether it's just me traveling, which that's the one that'll be the real sell, is me somehow managing to travel somewhere and take it with me, like if I'm not traveling with the whole family.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Caleb will go for it. He'll be like, no, you leave that here. You take a laptop or something, Dad.
That's mine,
Yeah.
Dad.
But anyway, yeah, so that's Nintendo. Anything else going on? I don't know. just in general, or do you want to close up the stream?
Um,
We got some people on here watching. I appreciate that. I'd love to do this kind of stuff more often, but I don't know.
there's people. There's people watching. You said that there's people watching, but no one's.
Yeah,
no
it's
one's
a
said
lie.
anything.
It's a blatant lie. There's zero. I'm just trying to up your spirits. No, there's people on here. So one of the things, okay, because this we said we won't talk about this publicly, but we can just not on the recorded podcast that gets distributed.
Sure.
One of the things that I thought.
Are you uploading the audio, by the way?
No, I'm not.
I still have to edit it, man. At least render that shit.
We don't render this. We don't edit
it's
this
all
show.
live. It's. Let me. For those watching, I do minimal edits other than adding compression.
What is
and
the
noise
episode
gates.
number for this?
I don't know. Just send
episode.
it. Just say
5,
episode.
6,
You don't
7.
know. You don't know.
All right,
episode.
I'm rendering in my.
Dash
Okay, so
rendering.
I listened to a bunch of like professionally produced like network style podcasts, right? And one of the things that they always end up having is like a producer or like an engineer who's like watching the levels and is like, you know, sitting in some sort of like booth, you know,
Sure.
kind of monitoring everything.
Oh, by the way, I think it's John. I think John Caulfield is the one.
Is John watching us right now? My
Yeah.
man.
Probably my mom. She retweeted us. No, John sent me a message. He says, "Long time caller, first time fan." You can't see that, but
Thanks,
There's
thanks,
the top.
John. Still won't write anything in the chat, but we appreciate it all the same.
hey, John, boot it up. Let's play
Oh.
Divinity Original Sin 2 this weekend.
I just realized that the stream is running off a different window that I closed. Boom! There we are. We're back.
Oh,
So they got to see my wallpaper for a minute.
nice.
So yeah, comment on that. Hey, it's not me. I'm not watching, says John Caulfield. Thanks. See, look at him.
You
Look at him
closed the
getting
window.
involved. No, the window's back open.
Oh.
I reopened it. I just
Oh.
minimized it. But I need to
boot
move
it
this
up.
tab over here before I like log in on camera.
Okay. Shit, what were you asking?
Oh, so you know when there's
Producer,
like
engineer, stuff like that.
okay, so longtime listeners like John Caulfield will remember. Remember Garage Dolphin?
Yeah.
Remember how great it was having him around?
Yeah, I do.
I think we should. So
Are you
a lot
trying
of these podcasts, they
soundboard?
talk. Huh? What?
You're trying to bring the soundboards back?
No, I don't. What I want to do is I want to have an engineer for our show. It's a third character for the show who basically runs the booth and listens, but he never says anything.
Okay.
He's just
So-
he's just that silent third party that we reference all the time, but never actually says anything, and
Do-
we
do
just
you-
play it off like it's a legit guy.
Do you
Like-
think that makes us more prestigious? We're like, oh, whoa, these guys they can afford an engineer.
No,
And-
I think it should ride right on that fence of like being known that it's a bit, but at the same time like we just completely roll with it. And
yeah, and they only reference this live stream later and say,
yeah,
They-
this
they
is
talk-
this is what like the real diehards will go back to and be like, man, if you went to like the 1 hour and 23-minute mark on this one live stream from
That's true.
January 2018.
we'll
They
never
talk
be
about the engineer not being a real guy. I'm almost positive.
we'll never be famous enough that anyone will listen this far.
No one's
into
ever
the-
gonna. No one's
What?
gonna listen to this.
uh,
How do I upload things to you
So
that I
you-
do every week? No,
so you want to
I
do
got it. I
a
got it.
performance art bit forever?
Yeah, always. That's
Okay.
what this is. That's what this podcast is, Brandon.
All right. So how do we do that then? Do we the next time we record one of these episodes we say, great news, we have just
Like, do we introduce him?
yeah, like I don't know, Chris over in the
part of me thinks we just start acknowledging him
yeah.
like he's been here all along.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, John Caulfield?
I-
And
yeah.
one other person that may or may not be watching.
I hope John or one other person who may or may not be watching tells us, because we've done so many of these episodes that clearly we haven't had, and we've said like it's just you and I in a garage. So if anybody of the two people who are subscribed to us ever, they're like no, you don't have an engineer, you are a garage dolphin. I've seen videos of you guys. There's no engineer. Like, I think that we start the bit at a definitive time.
Okay.
A definite
Like next
time.
week?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 2 weeks, yeah. And say, this awesome. We make a backstory and we say, we reached out on our social media at App Enthusiast and we found somebody who wanted to help us do engineering stuff. And he's actually located out here in Tampa. And so he's actually, because he has to monitor levels, right? So he has to be present at all times.
Yeah, no, he's here every episode.
Yes.
But
so,
but to the point where I think we should almost like, I don't know, we can come up with ideas.
well, he doesn't have, I guess he doesn't have to be necessarily be in Tampa, but he could be like we don't put him on webcam.
Yeah, he's shy. He's shy. He doesn't want to be seen. He just wants to work behind the scenes.
Yeah, he stays in the background.
Yeah.
He's like John Caulfield. He just stays in the
maybe we should name engineer John. John RC.
Yes. Yeah, unless the other person says what his or her name is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna be John RC.
What? I had it on mute. Engineer. That's a good career. Yeah, it's
John
definitely
RC
just us
on
and
Twitter.
John. Somebody else left. That or John left, and someone else is still watching. But all right, I am uploading this to you, Brandon. Maybe we should play video games later, depending on the status of The Bachelor right now.
It's 11:36.
Oh gosh, that's right. You're an hour ahead of me. I'm so used to you being like 5 hours behind me and like not having a care in the world.
That's fine. I'll stay up late tonight.
Well, we'll see.
So
I don't want to push you.
You upload the audio,
It's uploading.
and yeah, and I'll edit it and release it real fast. I'm gonna go also to the bathroom, and then if I'm up in like 30 minutes, then this won't take 30 minutes. So
All right. Well, thank you to people that watch the live stream. I guess I'm gonna kill that one now too. But I mean, we can. This doesn't take a lot of work, so we can do live streams when we record these if we want.
Yeah.
And shake your camera, a Tampa earthquake. So. Okay.
Call 'em.
But
whatever.